All right, today I want to talk about security, common sense, and policies, and making sure that you have them and that you're checking in on them. I'm going to tell a little story. This is 1999, maybe 2000. I was in Bermuda. I was hired by a very large insurance company to do a wireless security audit. My task was to find out what their Wi-Fi password was. And I probably could have just asked someone, and maybe someone could have given it to me, but I didn't do that route. But that was my task, was to get sniff out their Wi-Fi password. And back then, it was certainly easier than it is today. But I didn't use anything fancy. What I did is I walked into the building with my laptop in a bag, and I brought a power bar with me. I asked at the door if I could use their washroom. They said, "Yep, go ahead." So I went past the washroom, found a photocopier, unplugged the photocopier from the wall, plugged my power bar into the wall, plugged the photocopier into the power bar. So now the photocopier is still working, so nobody's suspecting a thing. And then I just put my laptop underneath the photocopier and left it there for 4 days, and left it using a tool. I think at the time it was Air Magnet. Just sniffing, just listening and watching packets all week and deciphering what the password was. And so sure enough, I got it. I don't think it took 4 days. I think at the time it took 2.5. So I got what I needed. I went back in the building, asked to use the washroom again, got the same, sure, go ahead. Went in, grabbed my laptop, left, and then met for the meeting and presented to the chief of security their wireless password. And they were astonished and shocked and wanted to know how I got it. And so I explained exactly how I got it. And their response was that I had cheated. It's not a good response, not a wise response. Those that are trying to get access to your things are not going to play by whatever rules or policies that you've defined. They are going to do whatever it takes. And sometimes it's the simplest methods. There's another story that I won't elaborate on too much, but there's a fellow that used one of those trays of cappuccinos, from Starbucks. He had 4 lattes or whatever on it. He had a smart card hanging from his hip, and he was trying to enter a building. Well, that smart card didn't work for that building. Who knows what it was for? It might have even been just a piece of plastic. But he just kept trying to bump against the door while his hands are full of these lattes. And so sure enough, someone came along, wanted to help, being a nice person, and just like, "Oh, I see you're struggling there. Let me just let you in." Well, that's called tailgating, and that happens a lot. And organizations probably should even be just double checking that people understand what tailgating is and that they have policies around it. If you have a lock that's checking on who's entering, you should be making sure that people are only letting those people enter. But anyway, that's a whole other thing. So I guess my question today is, when was the last time you checked your security policies or communicated them or had people read them and sign off on them? Do you have security policies for such things? Do you check in enough to make sure that your policies are evolving with the times and the ways that people can get in, right? So much of the cloud chatter these days is multi-factor authentication, which is very, very important, and having a strong password or not a password at all good things, but that's just one entry point. And that's organizations need to be careful of that. So to my colleagues, do you have any similar stories? How did you cheat to present to someone the risks that they had, and how did they take it? I'd love to hear in the comments below. Have a good day.